the Yankees are going to make a significant amount of moves. It's not going to be one. It's not going to be two. I could see the Yankees making 3 or 4. Now, Max Fried seems like the guy that the Yankees are definitely gunning for, and I think they're going to get their guy. The Yankees, everybody says that the Yankees didn't get their guy, Juan Soto. How do we know what the Yankees offered for Juan Soto? I think the Yankees, and I believe Hal Steinbrenner believed, there was no chance in hell. They made their push, and Scott Boras said, listen, we're going to the Mets. We're gonna jack up the price for the Mets and make the Mets open up their pockets and Steve Cohen open up his pockets. And he did. But I do believe that the Yankees' plan was to spread out the wealth. Now, if it's Corbin Burns, Max Fried, I don't know where they go in the pitching. I do think they're going to add a pitcher. There's no question that they will. And I expect that if Marcus Stroman comes back, I don't know if he will or the Yankees are going to bring him back. I expect the Yankees to move Marcus Stroman in the bullpen. That's where I think Marcus Stroman is going to be moving forward in his career. I don't think he's a starting pitcher anymore. And now that they lost a guy like Holmes, I could see the Yankees doing that. Loizaga is going to be gone. The Yankees are going to need to add certain pitchers in the bullpen to help out. Cody Bellinger is a guy I know Jabba really likes. And Cody Bellinger is a guy that has, over the years, he's won an MVP with the Dodgers. He went to the Cubs. This guy is a pretty good defender no matter where he plays, outfield to first base, but he adds a big bat, short porch, likes to pull the ball. I could see Cody going there, but I think it's Christian Walker where I think the Yankees go. I think Christian Walker is a guy that the Yankees like. He's a good team player. He's got a tremendous amount of power in Yankee Stadium. I think he can hit 35 to 40 home runs. If he does that, what are you losing out of Juan Soto, losing his bat? And Spencer Jones is a guy that the Yankees absolutely love. Now, where does Aaron Judge play next year? Does he play center field? Does he play left field? Does he play right field? There's a lot of questions on where he's going to play. To me, I think Dominguez is going to play center field if he stays healthy next year. And I expect Aaron Judge to play right field and Spencer Jones one way or another, maybe not in the beginning of the season, but maybe 3-4 weeks down the road. I expect Spencer Jones to be the starting left fielder for the New York Yankees. Alex Bregman's an interesting story, and I agree with you, Jeff. I think he goes back to Houston. The Yankees will make a push. I think the Blue Jays will make a push. I think there will be a lot of teams making a push for Alex Bregman. Nolan Arenado makes a lot of sense for the Yankees. The Yankees love Nolan Arenado. They wanted to make a move. They tried to trade for him years ago coming from Colorado. He winded up getting traded to St. Louis. It didn't work out in St. Louis because of injuries. Nolan Arenado is at 2 years left of his contract, 3 years. I think he's an affordable contract for the New York Yankees, and I think he's a guy that is still a great defender. He's not going to give you as much power at third base, but if he gives you 25, 24 home runs in a short porch and gives you about 70 to 80 RBIs, I think the Yankees wouldn't mind a guy like Nolan Arenado in that lineup.
I was just going through and kind of looking at age deals and if that's going to play a part, which I think it does. It does play a part in some way, shape, or form. I do think they focus on the two biggest things. I mean, is obviously getting either Fried or Burns. Fried's 30 and he's going to play. His injury, obviously, he's had a little bit injury problem that way. His postseason hasn't been the greatest. Love his arm. I mean, competitor, and they're the same age in Burns, but Burns, we've seen what he's done in the postseason, and obviously, that's what you want to do is get to the postseason and win. And then, so I love Christian Walker. You can get him on. I mean, he's 33 years old, and
very underrated for a while.
Yeah. I mean, and it was, he's not a household name. And if you don't know it, and obviously breaking out when the Diamondbacks were actually good, I mean, helped his cause. Let's be perfectly honest, right place at right time. And then I think I would love to see, I mean, because you're going to get an unbelievable third baseman. I think Bregman is in hindsight be a dream, right? Because he's only 30. And it would be great, but I honestly do think you're right. I think he stays with Houston. But I'm just excited to see what they do. I'd love to get some bullpen help too. Because, I mean, we all know that you can never have enough arms, and I think that's a big key too. So it'll be interesting, but yeah, I'm going to say 3 or 4. I wouldn't say one big one, and I wouldn't say just a bunch of dum dums, right? Like the little suckers. You can't even get the big sucker.
The little
So
suckers. The little leeches, not the big ones.
right. So yeah, so I think it's realistically, and like I said, I was going through with all my followers and everything, and I go, this might be a blessing in disguise, really. So now you can spread it out, and you can have a more balanced lineup and not rely so much on 3 people. So that's what I think. 3 or 4. I mean, I've expressed who I like, and so I guess we'll see how it plays itself out.
Christian Walker, guys, is a Gold Glover, and the Yankees, especially recently, the defense has not been at that level that you want. And a great first baseman can cover up a lot of mistakes. Don Mattingly, famously great fielding first baseman, franchise history. Tino Martinez was excellent. And you go down the line, when you don't have a good first baseman, when Giambi was still playing first, it was kind of like not great. Guys like Jeter had way more errors because we just couldn't save it as much. When Rizzo came to the Yankees, he was still the reputation of being a great fielding first baseman. And we talked about it during the World Series, Jabba. He would dive to first base and so the pitcher wouldn't even think about running because Rizzo was just that guy. We haven't had that guy since he first got here, since before the concussion that he played through last year, or I guess 2 years ago now. I think that is the move, man. I completely agree with you about Walker. I wanted to talk about a relief arm, actually 2 relief arms, and Tanner Scott is a real great hard throwing lefty with a big coming across sweeper, guys, and it's really that's the guy you want. Everyone wants this man right now. He's going to make himself a lot of money in this market. So I think the Yankees are going to pivot in this direction, get a lefty guy. They've been dancing around Devin Williams trade for years with the Brewers. If the Brewers are going to pull that trigger, this is probably the max value they're going to get out of the Yankees for it. This is a time to do it. If I'm the Brewers, the Yankees need to do something, and maybe like you're saying, load up the bullpen, really just shorten the games for the starting rotation. And we'll see if we can't get a really good fielding first baseman and just pile it on there and hope guys like Jones come around, man. Jones had a 33% strikeout rate, though, in minors last year.
So did Aaron Judge.
Not 30, not as much as him, though.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. He's a left-handed power hitter. He's going to hit a lot of home runs in Yankee Stadium.
I hope so.
Well, me being a Giants fan, I hope the demise of the Yankees. So hopefully this Soto thing just throws them off track and they go off the wheels for a couple of years at least. But knowing them, they're going to make 3 or 4 good moves. I don't think Bregman's off the table, honestly. I think they need to get a good first baseman and a good third baseman to really shore up that infield. I mean, if I were them, I would move Judge to a DH with his injuries of his feet. And obviously, he didn't make any errors in the season, but the one error he did make in the playoffs is the biggest one. So that's going to be on his mind, I think, going forward. Let him focus on his bat, get some relief pitchers, and shore up that infield, and call it a day.
They just Bleacher Report just came. You mentioned Devin Williams. Bleacher Report just came out a few hours ago that now the Dodgers are in on him. So I was like,
of course they are.
Yeah, right. I was just like, really? I might as well. Okay. Do you at this point, would you call, like, how they've talked in basketball about a super team? Would you call them that?
Oh, they're a super team. They were a super team last year.
Right.
I think just Glass now couldn't stay healthy, which I expect to happen. I think Snell won't stay healthy all season long. And that's why the Mets still have a chance. I do believe the Mets are still in that area with Philadelphia, where if everything goes right, if the Mets make 1 or 2 more moves, and I expect the Mets to make another move, maybe 2 more moves, not just Pete Alonso. I think the Mets can make a significant move to add maybe another bat. I've been talking about Gleyber Torres. Now McNeil could be trade bait. If they trade McNeil, I know that Juan Soto and Gleyber Torres are very close. They're very good friends. And Lindor and Gleyber Torres are also very good friends. So you add Gleyber Torres to that lineup, And I wouldn't be surprised if you hear that there are stories coming out that the Mets are going to make a move for a guy like Gleyber Torres. You could put him at second base. Now you solidify your infield, and you get your two guys from the New York Yankees. So I expect something. The Mets are not done. I clearly they're not done. Steve Cohen doesn't care about money. We all know that because he spent $1.6 billion in 5 years. It's ridiculous. When you look at these numbers, it's mind-boggling. I look at teams and what the Mets. Just think, Steve Cohen spent how much for the New York Mets?
$1.6 billion total.
How much did he buy the Mets for? From the Wilpons. What did he spend? How much did he spend for the Wilpons? I think it was like, if I'm not mistaken, $6 billion or $5 billion.
6.05 or something like that billion.
So just think this. Think of this number. He spent almost a quarter already in players on what he spent for the New York Mets. Just think about that. That's ridiculous. So, and that's what Steve Cohen's all about. If this team, and he promised the Met fans that they were going to win in 5 years. It's over 5 years. He's not happy. He brings in his guy, David Stearns. Let's see what David Stearns is going to do moving forward.